Lygia Clark did not paint pictures for people to admire. She did not sculpt objects for quiet contemplation. Her art was not a thing, it was a happening, an experience, a visceral engagement with the senses. To encounter Clark's work is to confront a dissolution, the dissolution of boundaries between subject and object, artist and participant, art and life itself. She stripped art of its traditional function, turning it into a process of transformation, one that unfolds not on a canvas, but within the body, within perception itself. This is the story of an artist who abandoned form to embrace experience, who saw creation not as an static product, but as a living, breathing exchange. Well, Lygia Clark was born in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, 1920. In her early years, she was trained under modernist painters, absorbing the rigid geometries of constructivism. But she soon senses the limits of the two-dimensional plane. Her work, modulated surfaces, for example, were paintings in name only. They did not depict, they enact. By subtly distorting the planes, she challenged the viewer's perceptions of depth and making the surface itself an active element. This was her first break with tradition, but it would not be her last. In 1959, she co-signed the New Concrete Manifesto alongside artists as Eliot Sica and Lygia Clark. New concretism rejects the impersonal, rigid geometries, a machine-like precision of the artists of concrete art, insisting that artwork could be more than a cold, self-contained structure. It must possess organic qualities. It must breathe. For Clark, this meant going beyond representation, beyond the idea of an artwork as something to be looked at. Art had to be experienced. By 1960, Clark had abandoned painting altogether. The frame was no longer sufficient. She needed to create something that demanded interaction. Her bichos, hinged metallic sculptures, were not sculptures in the conventional sense. They had no fixed form. They responded to the hands of those who touched them, shifting in shape, resisting, yielding. The participants' engagement was not passive. It was really fundamental. Without touch, the bichos remained inert. The work did not pre-exist the encounter. It was born in the moment of interaction, and Clark had, in essence, relinquished authorship. She no longer dictated meaning. The artwork was not a completed object. It existed only in flux, shaped by participants' movements. Clark did not stop at physical interaction. By 1960, she was no longer concerned with objects at all. Her true medium had become the body, the senses, the psyche. Her sensorial masks deprived the participants of sight, amplifying their awareness of sound, breath, and touch. With these masks, perception was no longer dictated by vision. It became something fragmented, shifting, unstable. In the I and the you, two participants were connected by an elastic band, their movements shaping one another's experience. It was a work about relationship, about the space between self and other. By the 1970s, she had turned to what she called the structure of the self, a practice that blurred the line between art and therapy. She developed relational objects, simple materials like plastic bags filled with air, stones wrapped in fabric, shells pressed into the skin. These were not objects to display in a gallery. They were tools of transformation, designed to provoke new modes of feelings, of being. Clark passed away in 1988, but her influence was only deepened. Her radical ideas anticipate the participatory art of the late 20th and 21st centuries. For Clark, art was never about the object. It's always about the encounter, the dissolution of the boundaries. And what happens when art ceases to be a thing and becomes something lived. So that's it. And if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe and stay with us for more explorations into the Brazilian art and culture. See you. Bye.